welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's now time for us to look at the big stories making headlines today. And joining us this morning is journalist and public affairs analyst, a senior journalist, one which we look up to in the industry, and is one of my favorite public affairs analysts on this show, Mr. Habib Aruna. And I've never told anybody that.
Actually, he's never said that. Yes.
So we always look forward to your informative and insightful.
And I appreciate you guys too. You guys are doing very well.
Analysis. Thank you very much.
Very well.
Let's
you guys on your TV doing very well.
Thank you very much. So we'll start off with the Punch newspaper. The headline is screaming, presidential order fails to curb soaring drug prices.
See the top of it, it says sick and stranded.
Sick and stranded.
So sad.
Yeah, oftentimes we've seen presidential directives, not necessarily being flouted, but the implementation phase is problematic. We saw that with dialysis too. The dialysis treatment should presidency subsidized it, but we don't have enough machines, and it's just cumbersome. The writer says essential medicine still unaffordable despite tax waivers. Pharmacies struggle amidst weak naira. And there's also another headline: federal government shot 22 illegal education institutions. I mean, didn't they say education is a scam? Now you don't have people that are scamming people that are trying to get educated. This is an anomaly. And pregnancy faking widow nabbed with cocaine in Lagos. That's a serious one. And federal government begins phase 2 of 12,000 megawatt Siemens power project. Didn't they say that project had died? That's some good news there. And PDP NEC gets zoning report today amidst convention crisis. So the NEC is going to hold today, the PDP NEC, that everyone, all eyes will be on Abuja.
All eyes on Abuja.
Things go. And if the FCT minister is going to attend. Locals beg federal government as Osun-Ondo federal roads collapse. Yes,
Just also add to the Osun one, they also haven't gotten their local government allocation.
So things are happening.
These are core issues. Yeah. So,
and they have a right to beg for the roads to be fixed, because you see the government spending billions on Lagos.
In fact,
Calabar,
using the word beg really makes me sad. They have a right to ask or demand for their roads to be fixed.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll have Mr. Aruna speak on any of the stories, but let's just quickly touch. There's one story I think we missed there. Yoruba leaders push for Makinde Adeleke's intervention in Alaafin-Oni conflict.
And we just spoke about a royal father in Warri.
Yeah. Warri.
I think it's a needless fight between the royal fathers, and people are already taking side. If you look at the public opinion is still turned towards the Oni. People have sympathy for the Oni of Ife and the way it's handling it. Even though the media aid said he should not comment on it.
Should not dignify the
undignified. And he was already commenting. He was not a thorough professional.
Yeah.
But the way he handled it, people appreciate it. I think this is not the first time. This is not the first time we are seeing this supremacy toss between the Oni of Ife and the Alaafin of Oyo. We all have different sides to it. I for one, I think the elders in the region should intervene.
It's a royal
fight.
But it's a royal matter.
Oni is Arole Odua. Alaafin is a major, it's a very powerful tool. But Oni is not the other king. It's Oni, they're going to call it Onirisha. It's a dead
spiritual custodian of Yoruba spirituality.
Ife is the of Yoruba, Romila to Oduduwa. But Alaafin too, you can't downplay his influence, his historical influence and power. That's what
but it was just coronated. It was just coronated just a few months ago.
It meant Yoruba language is Oyo language. People don't know it's Oyo language. So Oyo is a very rich history and it's head. But it should not be. So
is the fight an individual fight or a titled?
No, it's an individual fight. This man just came in and he wants to establish his authority and dominance in the space. which is difficult.
But he says that it's not just about his authority. Basically, that there was a judicial statement to that the court had prescribed that the power to establish or bestow chieftaincy titles that are nationwide, right, should lie with the Alafin, not with the Oni.
As a leader, as a custodian of our culture and tradition, there are more dignified ways of doing it.
As opposed to coming to give him a 48 hours ultimatum.
You can call him, visit him. Only visited him when he became the king. You should visit the Oni, let him know, bros, this thing is not your this thing, no. It's for me. You did not laugh over it and it will be resolved. And come to the public space and giving command to the Oni of Ife.
It's
which
not,
you see as an affront. And,
it's not royal behavior.
Thank God that leaders in the region are not trying to intervene. And they've called on the governors, Adeleke and Makinde to do that. They can intervene, they can tell them, they can call them to order.
Okay. Let's talk about what your expectations...
No matter how powerful they are, just local government in their domain, we give them query, and everyone will not fall.
Right.
Yeah, that's what happened to all the people.
Yeah, because the constitution is supreme.
And Bayero, when they travel out to UK and Israel, they give them query. Local government give them query, local government in their domain. So they just be careful so that they won't mess up the tradition and culture.
All right. PDP NEC gets zoning report today amid convention crisis. What are your expectations for their NEC meeting? I remember that Governor Seyi Makinde was asked about zoning, PDP's position about zoning, and he said they will reach an official position today. So,
and do you expect the FCC minister to attend?
The only way the PDP can be relevant, the scheme of things, to march towards 2027, is for the PDP to zone the presidency to the south. That's the only way. They can't do zone it to the north. The party has said it. One of the leaders of the party, Professor Jerry Ghana, said it about 2-3 weeks ago, that the party will zone it to the south. I don't see that changing anytime soon. But that's the only way they can be relevant. That's the only way they can promote the candidature of the people of my president, So if they zone it to the north, the party will zoom into irrelevance. So the only way they can do it, they will disagree, but the only way the party can remain relevant, the scheme of things, as we map towards 2027, is for the PDP to zone it to the south. Then Nigeria will not be interested, okay, this is zoning. Let the south complete the 4 terms. The 4-year term that remaining. Yeah. If we zone it to the north, it creates a lot of crisis. And you see, I think Wike will not allow that to happen.
Somebody that's already talking about
the
convention.
They will not have a united house. Because Wike is bent on making sure that PDP is in the alley to pave the way for implicitly for his Oga in Aso Rock. So I don't believe the PDP leaders and the members have the capacity, right, to sanction Wike and put him in his place so that the party can have a united front and move ahead.
So how do you see this disagreement between the FCC Minister, Nyesom Wike, and Governor Seyi Makinde playing out? And do you think they'll be able to see eye to eye in this NEC meeting? And
don't forget that Seyi Makinde and Wike, they've been friends. They've been very close. Before the last election,
G5. Yeah.
Before the last election, they were together in the same camp. But they are pursuing different agendas now because Seyi Makinde wants to be in the party, while Wike is always trying to divide the party for his own selfish interest. So I don't see them having a convergence anytime soon. But I believe that many of the leaders in the party are members. If you find a way to sanction an unruly member, that's the only way they can move forward. If a person that circumvents your rules and regulations is not punished, then you are laying a very bad precedent. So I think they should, if they can find that muscle, to sanction Wike, the party will be on a sound foot going forward.
I mean, the person you're asking to be sanctioned is a very powerful individual.
The party you can be more part of the party.
All right.
We'll see how that plays out.
So the party is always supreme.
We'll see how that plays out.
You are subservient to the dictates of the party. So the party just, even if it's financing them, even if it's powerful and influential, the party is always supreme. So they find a way to punish him and let them fall into line. But I think we should discuss this story.
Which of them?
And Punch.
All right, the big one. Yes, I wanted to talk about that.
It's a major issue.
Presidential order fails to curb soaring drug prices. Essential medicines Still unaffordable despite tax waivers,
Yeah.
and pharmacies struggle amid weak naira.
It's a major issue with the dwindling fate of the naira and the way things are cost. These are very expensive in the market. Drugs has not been excluded from this problem that we are having. And the government should, as a matter of fact, it's almost all these interventions that we need in this country. These are some of the areas that the money recovered from subsidy removal, should be diverted to.
Right.
Yes, this because if you go, because for example, people that are having diabetes, hypertension, asthma patients, they cannot afford the drugs, and that's why we have government. The government have enough resources. It's a matter of priority. The government should put more money into this, subsidize this. It's
very important. It's a matter of life and death. But Mr. Habib Aruna, just hold your thoughts there for a few seconds. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue looking at the newspaper front pages. Welcome back to Breakfast Central here, and we still have Mr. Habib Aruna here to help us analyze the front pages of the newspaper. Let's move on from the front Punch to the Vanguard newspaper. Economy screams the headline, industrialization in jeopardy as agric manufacturing sink. Services sectors takes driving seeds. Manufacturing loses 1.2 trillion naira in 5 years. That's terrible news, according to this report. FDI plummets amidst waning investor confidence. Rebasing exposes sector structural weakness, says Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Nigeria is struggling with the industrialization, says Nigeria Economic Summit Group. Manufacturing should contribute 40% to GDP, says ECPO. And manufacturing should be the base of your economy, and it does a lot to your currency too. Insecurity. Concerned stakeholders decry killing of 10,217 persons in just 2 years.
Yeah, there was a memo to that. We saw
figure.
that memo going over the course of the weekend.
And Yuletide, for those of you planning to travel this Christmas, just you need this very important information, and so you can prepare your expenses and check your pockets. 131% surge in airfares to Southeast, South passengers outcry.
Money that
They're
I'm going to use to
crying
go abroad.
in August.
Hey.
We have not even reached September, and they're crying.
We have not entered in Bamba months. Okay.
It's a serious one. NBA conference, Sultan Mba Malema tasked lawyers on justice protection for the poor. Very, very important theme and conversation at the ongoing NBA conference in Enugu State. It's interesting to also know that Governor Mba is a legal practitioner, he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a lawyer.
I didn't know that before. And ADC to Tinubu declares state of emergency in Katsina and Zamfara over insecurity. Falana to EFCC, return recovered 32.7 billion naira and $445,000 loot to NSIPA. There's also Labour tackles federal government over proposed pay rise for political office holders. And Governor Abdulrazak declares war on kidnappers, bandits after deadly attack. Imported steel products drain over $4 billion foreign exchange annually, says the minister. And we have the Ajaokuta steel mill. So I want you to juxtapose this and also the economy saying that industrialization in jeopardy as agric manufacturing sink. On paper, people will say, the DG of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, recently said the economy has stabilized. It means we've gone through the worst phase. So why can't we use these reforms, the hard pills that we had to swallow to spur industrialization and also manufacturing in the country? Because why do we have the Ajaokuta steel mill? It's not productive. And then the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is complaining about how industrialization has taken a backseat and, cost of production is so high.
You see, we are, when we see this kind of story, begin to wonder if we are not a nation of jokers. We are trying our best to revamp the economy, beef up the value of Naira, make our economy export-oriented. The only way we can do this, Benga, is production. When Buhari was there, there are reports that our agri sector was doing very well. Then what happened? Just suddenly, what happened? This story is very, very important because that is what the media should be doing. The media should be setting agendas. The media should be reminding the government in power that we are not on the right course. The media should be holding the government accountable that we are not doing what they should be doing. Major countries in the world, leading industrial countries in the world, China, US, Germany, UK, France, even South Africa. Look at Brazil.
Huge
Our president is in Brazil.
Base.
Brazil is a major industrial hub now.
They produce airplanes.
Private jet, everything. Luxury forces.
Embraer, yeah.
What is wrong with us? You cannot develop, you cannot move to the next level without
industrialization.
You cannot. If your steel industry is because of one thing, one word, corruption. You cannot do something. You cannot develop your steel industry. You cannot move to the next
phase. Are we
phase.
going to Dangotize our economy? Because it had to take Dangote to prove that refineries can work.
If we cannot industrialize, then we are back to base zero. You're on ground zero.
And you're susceptible to international...
At this time, we're in a big mess. So I think this story, this Vanguard story, people are looking at it because it's very expensive.
It's the headline.
I've come to this place. And I was just shaking my head. What is wrong with us? There's nothing is being done in that area at all. And we're just hoping and hoping that you get better. It's very unfortunate.
There's so many other stories. Let's see if we can quickly touch another paper. Front page of the Guardian newspaper. You can see there, there's a picture there. It's the picture of former President, Nigerian Bar Association. So obviously this photo was taken at the NBA conference happening yesterday. Then there's some other stories. The coalition, ADC warned of looming security collapse, urged Tinubu to act. Federal government, 1 trillion naira needed yearly to sustain school feeding program. And I think that's a question that I will ask you if you agree with this school feeding program. NNPCL deducts 235.6 billion naira in 7 months for oil search in North Frontier basins. Yoruba elders appeal to Oni Alafin to end rift. NMA Lagos threatens solidarity strike over unpaid salaries welfare. Again, Benue Speaker resigns 48 hours after suspending 4 lawmakers. It's like, I can't go down alone. Maybe I know I'm going to go down. So all 4 of you will go down with me. RMAFC under fire over upward review of politicians' remuneration. At the top of the paper, NLNG seals pact with gas suppliers to aid production expansion. El Rufai opposition leaders collapse Kaduna STP into ADC. US Obasanjo flayed judiciary over perceived graft. So let me start with the question I asked you earlier. If you believe in the school feeding program, they're saying they need 1 trillion naira yearly to sustain it.
How transparent is the process? How credible it is? How effective it is? That's the question I ask people. Even this loan that given students now has been meshed with corruption. We all know it. How did they arrive at that figure, at 1 trillion naira? Why can't these various state governors in their state spend some of the money they are collecting from the federal government to feed students? That is what nations do. Most nations in the world now feed their students. They feed students, pupils, in both primary and secondary schools. We can do it in Nigeria. But these guys are busy misprioritizing what they are doing. There's no priority on people's welfare. No adequate priority. So I think it's a very good story. There's no excuse by the government. We have the resources to do it. But it's a misplaced one. So I think the state government, the state governors, who are seen as emperors, it should be their responsibility.
Yeah, but looking at the constitutional breakdown of Nigeria, the federal government gets the lion's share of revenue. So that's why people always go cap in hand in Abuja. They say, to whom much is given, much is expected. So if this school feeding program burden is falls on the federal government, so be it. Because
Well, I'm not sure.
they're getting the lion's share of
I'm not sure
of
it's on
revenue.
the exclusive list. I'm not sure. Maybe.
But I agree with you that state governments
but I was thinking
can
that,
do better in terms of welfare.
Rather than being a federal responsibility.
And also sharing the burden.
Well, that's a very valid, suggestion.
Local government chairman.
Okay.
Also sharing it. Something that they can do.
I want to speak about, and I believe that this is Nigerian Medical Association Lagos that has threatened solidarity strike over unpaid salaries. The NMA has several times had to unfortunately threaten strikes, and here we are back again.
We've had them
The
here
NMA
a
is
few
threatening
times
strike.
in the
And
recent
ASU
Yes.
also threatening strike. So we are back in the season of strikes. And I think those who are in authority are watching and reading.
Just
And actions have been taken.
Just to
prevent it from
confirm
taking
who
place.
they are supporting, it says the Nigerian Medical Association Lagos State branch has warned that it will embark on a solidarity strike to support the medical guild if the Lagos State government fails to refund July 2025 deductions and ensure full payment of August salaries by August 25th. The decision followed an emergency general meeting of the association where the group deliberated on the medical guild's 21-day ultimatum to the state government, the non-provision of call duty meals, and the non-payment of skipping areas to doctors at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital.
I can assure you that if it's Lagos, it will be handled, it will be tackled.
What gives you that assurance?
Before it metamorphosed into a crisis. No, I can tell you that. Lagos has a way of handling
But
this.
why? This is not the first time.
Must
now,
it get to the level
No,
of a threat to take industrial strike?
you see,
apparently
you
this is not the first time this happened, this particular
You
deduction.
cannot address this thing if you are not there. I was there. I can tell you. That at
No, but
times,
we do talk to people
I can tell you
that are stakeholders, the doctors that are affected.
Unions, they have a lot of excesses. They overdo one. In a language. But I think for that level, it will be handled.
So the association is saying that the salary reductions in question were first made in Lagos State by the Lagos State government on April 23rd, 2025, but that after they protested, refunds were made. However, a repeat deduction on July 23rd, 2025 triggered a 3-day warning strike by the medical guild from July 28th to 30th, after which doctor salaries were yet to be refunded. Consequently, the medical guild issued a 21-day ultimatum, which expires today, August 25th. Another thing that they argued for is call. They want meals to be provided, free meals to be provided for doctors on call.
Duty.
And, that's also being rejected by the government. So is that...
That's why I said I can only speak if it's Lagos. I don't know what is going on, but with my understanding of the workings of things in this state, I'm sure something's been done about it. It will be handled and to be resolved. I'm very sure of that.
All right. Let's go now to another story
And
here.
the story of NBA.
Yes.
They invited Malema,
Yes.
the controversial
Julius Malema.
African
It
activist.
says Africa's future is dependent on political economy in
Politician.
Nigeria and
The
South
man
Africa.
is one of the people I watch every time on YouTube. And I feel inspired by his words and speeches. To the extent that the world president in quote, Donald Trump, showed his video to the White House
When
Ramaphosa visited the White House, visited the US. So the man is very controversial. The man, he doesn't joke with Nigeria. And Nigerians are very bold. He liked Nigeria as a
He's
country.
anti-xenophobic.
Yes.
And he believes in the unity of the continent in terms of
Absolutely. No, the continent.
one currency,
Yes.
a global,
Yes.
a national
Yes.
leadership. We like the national leadership,
One
a
government.
continental
Yes.
leadership,
Yeah.
free visa-free zones,
and
and
Africa
like.
should be borderless.
Yes.
You don't call it visa. No, he's a nationalist.
He's a Pan-African.
Pan-Africanist, absolutely.
Thomas Sankara will be proud.
And the underlying
And
issue,
Mandela.
the underlying issue is that of justice. That when the rich can easily buy justice,
That's why his party is called the
country-
Economic Freedom
no country can
Fighters.
develop.
EFF.
The country can develop. The country can only develop if there is equality before the law and supremacy of the law.
And looking at his
But the way we are
country-
going about it, it's difficult for people to get justice through our courts.
looking at his country, and it's quite unfortunate that politicians have taken advantage of populism, and the ordinary people there don't know better. They think the Zimbabwean that has a corner shop or the Nigerian is the reason for your poor economy or the poor state of your economy, and they're not looking in the right direction. South Africa is one of the most unequal societies in the world. The means of production belong to the minority, the white people. They still own majority of the land.
Yeah.
So they celebrated flag liberation in 1994 with the removal of apartheid, but there's still economic apartheid. Yes, and that's what's important. You might have freedom, you don't need to use passes to move around, but economically, it's a very unequal society. That's what Julius Malema is fighting for, equality in wealth and distribution. Hopefully, they will get there one day and realize that Nigeria and Nigerians are not their enemies. We really sacrificed a lot in terms of the fight for democracy in South Africa. Our musicians were at the forefront. The Nigerian government donated a lot. We provided exile, a refuge for some of the ANC
and I agree with you.
fighters.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any background information as to why this Benue speaker resigned 48 hours after firing,
I don't have any
suspending 4 lawmakers?
Probably
I'm not ready the story.
call from above. I also want to know your take on what happened over the weekend, the video we saw in Kogi State, where the White Lion, former governor,
Usman Ododo.
Yahaya Bello, summoned the lawmakers
Yes,
to
that's the
what
video.
looked like a garage.
For those who haven't seen it, maybe we should play the video so that they can take a look.
They should listen to everything the governor says and they should obey him.
Let's take a look at the video.
As you're going in there now, go and cooperate with the speaker, other members of the House of Assembly of Kogi State, and be part of those that will support Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo. Are you getting my point? In everything that comes to the assembly, everything. Even if you don't understand.
All right, that is Governor Yahaya Bello giving a charge. Former Governor Yahaya Bello giving a charge to the newly elected State House of Assembly member Hassan Shado and other lawmakers under the APC.
It's not in any way a laughing matter. When I watched this thing on Friday evening, I feel like shedding tears. Shedding tears for our country. Shedding tears to how we have degenerated. Shedding tears for our democracy and its future. This will not happen in the First Republic. It will never happen in the Second Republic. Neither could it have happened in the Third Republic. I see a man that was a failure in 8 years as the governor of Kogi State, who is being tried for corruption, talking to lawmakers as if they are schoolboys.
There's an active case of corruption.
That is the nature and character of the Nigerian system that you are seeing in its purest manifestation. And all of us should be ashamed of ourselves.
So who takes the blame here? The lawmakers for attending?
This kind of nonsense will not happen elsewhere. Who is Yahaya Bello? Yahaya Bello was a big failure. And he's facing corruption charges.
I mean, he's arguing that while he was governor, there wasn't any fight in the House.
Please, that is very nonsensical. This kind of video should be condemned by decent Nigerians. Yahaya Bello is not a decent human being.
But in fairness to him, he hasn't been found guilty. He's just under trial.
He was the corruption by the side. His governance for 8 years, his tenure was a big failure. What did they do? And for him to have been commanded people like that, you see, why I'm worried is that those shows there's no elections in Nigeria. In the country with credible, transparent elections, this thing will not happen. It just means that people to get to power in Kogi State and elsewhere in Nigeria, you need the auspices of
Godfather.
I won't use that word. You need someone that is as parasitic as Yahaya Bello to get there. So at the end of the day, what matters to them is the interest of Yahaya Bello, instead of Ododo, and instead of these spineless people that are kneeling down for Yahaya Bello, because they want power, because they want opportunity to go and take their own share of the cake. It's very sad, gentlemen.
Very, very sad. Because again,
how would you condemn it?
It makes us ask questions
what are we talking about?
What is separation of power?
It just means that the interest of people in Kogi State doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, if you say Yaya Bello was a failure, he appointed,
failure.
he appointed
I'm saying it categorically and emphatically.
He appointed a successor, and he endorsed a successor. Right?
I wanted to
Let
say
me use
appoint, okay.
the proper language, and the people of Kogi State deemed it
Did they vote for him?
to
Did he win the
vote him
election?
in power.
Did he win the election?
I mean, he has the certificate.
That is
he
the
has the
problem.
certificate of
And
return,
that is my
and
point.
is currently the
That is
governor
my
of
point.
Kogi
That's
State.
what I make on this program every time. Insofar as people are not allowed to elect their leaders, those leaders will not be accountable to them. Nor will they do anything to promote their interest and their welfare. That's the problem. If we insist that we must have a free and fair elections in Nigeria, then those guys will sit tight. Because we come back
to
renew their mandate. But that is not in practice. That is what you are saying in that video in Kogi State. Yaya Bello, that should be in jail. He's not telling lawmakers to kneel down. He's giving them instruction.
But maybe he's not telling them to do that. They don't have
Very unfortunate.
But the governor
Very
also
sad.
knelt down to speak to
Very
the
sad.
governor when, to the former governor when
It's
he was
giving
elected.
honor to whom honor is due.
Yes.
I'm very happy that we are
He's
seeing
leading
it.
by example.
Okay,
Sad.
let's quickly take, before we wrap up, the final story here. On the front page of the Guardian still, we see here that El-Rufai, opposition leaders collapse Kaduna STP into ADC. This development was announced during a coalition meeting held in Kaduna on Saturday, which brought party leaders, stakeholders, and political actors from various platforms. What's the implication of this?
No. These guys are putting their house in order. There was even a report that they mandated implicitly leaders who are still in other parties to leave those parties and join ADC. You see, why I'm happy for ADC is that we need a proper opposition party to put the ruling party on its toes. That's my interest. And I want them to put their house in order. They can put their house in order and Nigerians see their prospects. Nigeria will begin to give Nigerians alternative programs and policy. Not just bandizing and showing themselves on TV. So I'm putting statements on social media. I want to see a deliberate and concrete steps being taken by this opposition party to give us alternatives to the what this party is giving us. Then we begin to see them and take them serious and say, okay, democracy can strive.
And not just seeking power.
Because democracy can only strive when we have an opposition party on ground that put the ruling party and ruling government on its toes.
And yes, another finally for real. RMAFC under fire over upward review of politicians' remunerations. I don't know if we spoke about that.
Are they not just doing their job?
That was the issue last week.
Yeah.
That dominated the space. And quite expectedly, there was condemnations against it from all sectors, from all segments of the society. People were against it. Now, not now. Do you guys know what we are doing? Are you sensitive?
All right.
When people are suffering. So I don't think it's ideal. I don't think it should be allowed. And I don't think it will work. It will not be allowed to work. Now is not the time to increase their pay when they are earning so much in allowance and other things.